Woo! Motivation feels good, boys. There is no doubt about that. But motivation becomes a very dangerous thing when we start dealing with it as a currency for success. I love motivation just as much as any person in the world. But I can tell you for a fact right now that the times in my life where I've made the most progress, be it in the gym, be it with my business, when I've had those breakout periods of time, motivation was not the driving factor behind it. It did contribute some days, and then some days I really didn't feel like it. So if it wasn't motivation, if that should not be our focus, what should it be? Firstly, with motivation, it's quite difficult because it is an emotion. And emotions are only temporary things that come and they go. They fade, and no matter how hard we try, we cannot keep it going forever. And the problem that we have, or most people have, is they only want to take that action when they feel motivated. You've probably had so many times in your life, maybe it's 1 a.m., you've been struggling to sleep, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I really want to do this, I really want to do this. My life hasn't been good, but bang, light bulb moment, I've clicked it out. I'm so motivated, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna smash these things out. And then more often than not, we either wake up in the morning and we don't feel that same passion to go through and conquer, or it disappears after a couple of days. Going back to when I was like 16, I always wanted to make internet money. That was always my dream. So I thought I'm gonna try some drop shipping, I'm gonna try some trading, stocks, options, the whole caboozle. And I'd go really hard on it for about 30 days. Bit of motivation, bit of discipline. And then when it started to get really hard and the money wasn't coming in, I'd drop it and think, this is not for me. There must be something else out there, right? And so when that motivation drops, I just stopped showing up. That was the end of that chapter for me. And then what would happen is I go back to doing what I was doing, go to work my normal job, go to school, go to the gym occasionally, and then I wait for that next hit of motivation, that next thing that felt like a divine spark, which was going to show me exactly where I had to go and make me rich in 1 month or less. And that leads to a very unreliable situation because motivation is unreliable. So getting to the key of what we need is we need something reliable. We need a banker that we know if we do this, we are going to win, because it is already so difficult to be successful in whatever the thing is that you want, regardless of what that might be, whatever it looks like for you in your life. So we need to have a system that we know this is going to work. We just have to worry about this one thing and everything else can be taken care of, because if we leave it up to chance, I can almost promise you, unless you win the lottery, it's not going to happen. And the odds of winning that are just so astronomical, I can't even think of the number in my head. And so the two key things we have that we need is a system and discipline to stick to that system. I want you to imagine for a moment there is two armies. One army is going to fight purely on feelings and how hyped up they feel in the moment. Now, they might be a very deadly force if they're feeling good that day, if they've had their Wheaties for breakfast, they might be pumped up and ready to go. But the army they're fighting is an army which is built on systems and structure. They don't really care how they feel. They've got their game plans laid out. They're just going to go through the motions and they're going to keep showing up because they know that structure that they've built is going to work out long term. So these two armies collide. It's a brutal battle. The war starts raging. And then this army, as things get difficult, as they start losing people, as they start getting casualties, maybe one of the generals gets shot in the leg and he doesn't feel like it anymore, they start to fall apart. They don't feel like it anymore. As things get hard, they turn and they run for the hills. And then the army that's built on structure and systems is going to win that battle every single time, because it doesn't matter how they felt. They had a game plan and they knew they were going to carry through with it and they were going to come up on top. And while we're not really in the days anymore of hand-to-hand combat and armies charging each other in glorious battles, that archetype that we have displayed there is very relevant in our personal day-to-day life. The losing archetype are the people that wait for their motivation to take the action and go forward and do those things. They still know what they want to do. They want to win the battle, but the catalyst for them to do that is based on how they feel. Our winning archetype is the people that have locked in their structure and they've locked in their habits and routines, and they couldn't care less how they feel. They just know what they need to do and they're going to do it day in, day out, regardless. And so the key takeaway here is quite simple. Anytime we're tempted to think, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it, we've got to replace that with, I'll do it no matter what. I'll do it because this is my plan and this is my structure. And that structure and plan is going to look slightly different depending on what your goals is. So the quickest way for you to get to where you need to be, firstly, understand where you're going, and then going to work backwards from that. What is my ultimate goal? Okay, what does that person look like in their daily life? What are their habits? What are their motivations? What are they disciplined about? What are they doing, which I am currently not, which I can put into my life to start to close that gap. Because in order to become that person that we want to be, we have to act like them already. And that's actually how we transform and close the gap. So many people, and myself included, I did this a lot, we slow down our progress by trying to humble ourselves a little bit. We say, okay, I am not where I want to be. What's a little step I can take so that I'm getting a little bit closer, but I'm still not quite there yet because, I'm not ready. Things take time. It's pretty difficult. Throw that out the window and just really assess what your life is going to look like in the next few years' time if you succeed. Embody as many of those traits now. Don't be afraid to put your head out there and start making these big changes in your life. You don't have to try and justify every little thing. If that's what a winner is doing, why would you not embody that? There's no need to try and limit yourself. And then when you know what those things are, when you know what their little habits are and what they do every day, you can write down on a piece of paper. This is an easy way to do it. Write down your categories of your stuff you have to do. Maybe you got, I got to sleep for 8+ hours. I've got to hit a gym session. I've got to hit my calories. I've got to do these different work blocks each day. List them on a piece of paper. And then every day as you do them, go through and tick them off. And then all we've got to do is make sure that we've decided that no matter how we feel, we're going to go through and we're going to tick those boxes off every single day. And that's going to be incredibly comforting because even when we feel low, we will know that we are going to win so long as we keep ticking off our boxes. It's not going to be a case of, I don't have a plan, I feel low, I'm lost. In that moment where we're not feeling that great, we're going to be okay because we do have a plan. We're still taking the steps we need to take. And then when that motivation does come around, we can go even harder, run with that, and go forward and achieve all those fantastic things. So I hope you enjoyed this one, lads. Smash like on the video, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you thought. And as always, boys, I will see you in the next video. Wachoo!